So the last game of the weekend was the Salt Lake Stallions at the Arizona Hotshots. In my opinion, this was the best game. It was actually the closest game. I mean, as close as you're going to get it starting out now. Salt Lake Stallions fell to the Arizona Hotshots in Arizona 22-38. Both quarterbacks kind of showed up. Well, really, Arizona's quarterback showed up. John Wolford for the Arizona Hotshots. He was 18-29, pretty good. 275 yards, 9.5 yards per attempt, 4 TDs, and two two-point conversions. Josh Woodrum was 10-22, so yeah, not really that good. He had 103 yards, 4.7 yards per average per passing attempt. He had 1 TD, but he also had 1 interception, and he had 1 two-point conversion. Matt Linehan, he came in, I want to say around the third. He came in around midway the third. He was 7-13, 56 yards, 4.3 yards per attempt, and 1 TD, and also 1 interception. But John Wolford looked legit. I know in my the other game breakdowns, I was talking about how the QBs gotta get, they gotta get on point. But the only 2 QBs that really showed up this weekend were the ones for the Orlando Apollos and John Wolford for the Hotshots. Like, they were on point this weekend. For running backs, the big story coming out was that Matt Asiata was playing for the Salt Lake Stallions. He was a hero of the Vikings when Adrian Peterson got suspended for all those games. He only had 4 carries for 4 yards. Not good, my guy. Brandon Oliver actually stepped in, 8 carries, 40 yards. He had a long of 9, and he had the 1 2-point conversion. Joel Boganum had 16 carries, 39 yards. So he was it was bell cow workhorse. He was mainly the main running back out there. He had the long of 9 for the Arizona Hotshots. Jarrell Presley, he had 18 carries, 64 yards, and a 1 2-point conversion. John Wolford, also the quarterback, had 8 carries for 23 yards. That dude was just all over the place, man. If he's the quarterback that I'm gonna follow pretty much the rest of the time that I'm watching this league. Like, I like that guy. Receiver wise, pretty much it was all Rashad Ross. Rashad Ross was everywhere. 5 receptions, 7 targets, 103 yards, the longest of 41. He had 2 TDs. Every time you looked up, this dude was scoring. He was in the end zone. Like, this guy was everywhere. Jarrell Presley had 1 reception for 2 targets. He had 30 yards and long of 30 and 1 TD. Also, Jarrell Christian, he had a touchdown as well. So pretty much everybody was getting the ball. If you play for the Arizona Hotshots, John Wolford was going to be thrown at you. On the Salt Lake Stallions, kind of same story. Anthony Denham, had 5 targets, 59 yards. Nick Truesdell had a touchdown, and Jordan Leslie had a touchdown as well. The biggest thing that I found hilarious about this game was the fact that Nick Folk missed a field goal. Nick Folk went 2 of 3 for field goals. He had a long of 53, so he scored 6 points on his own. But the reason why Nick Folk is not in the NFL right now, because he kept doinking field goals. And Reese Jones-Drew during the commentating was stating like, hey, one of the main reasons why a lot of these NFL teams are going through kickers so many times is because they keep doinking the ball off the uprights. And what does Nick Novak do? No, my bad. And so what does Nick Folk do? He doinks the ball off the upright. Yeah, you gotta figure that out, my guy. Defensive wise, it was a pretty standard NFL type defensive night for these guys. Steven Johnson had 7 tackles and an interception and a pass deflection, and Cody Brown had 6 tackles. But it was pretty basic. Pretty much it wasn't the defensive shutdowns like we were seeing with the other games, like the Iron Curtain that they're calling the Birmingham Iron, or the Commanders and Fleet game where it was a defensive struggle over there. But all in all, this was a more balanced game. It was more kind of what I expected from the Alliance of American Football. So I actually appreciate this game. Actually, let me back this up. The one thing I actually didn't expect from this game was Marvin Lewis. Marvin Lewis was the former coach for the Cincinnati Bengals, was a commentator. Now, I know a lot of people don't like him. He was a head coach for way too long. He should have retired or been fired a long time before that. When I first saw him on the screen, I was like, why is this dude out here? This is bummy, like, get somebody else. But that dude actually, once he got into that rhythm and MJD was like kind of bringing it out of him, he's not a bad commentator. So he's no Tony Romo, but I like it. I like what NFL Network did there.